Athens. Before we proceed with today's trial, you have to pledge an oath. Please raise your left hand to the height of your chest and repeat after me. I swear by Athens, the goddess of wisdom.
I swear by Athens, the goddess of wisdom.
And Zeus, the ruler of justice.
And Zeus, the ruler of justice.
I will fulfill my duty as a juror.
I will fulfill my duty as a juror.
I will listen carefully.
I will listen carefully.
I will weigh the evidence fairly.
I will weigh the evidence fairly.
And I will uphold the laws of Athens.
And I will uphold the laws of Athens.
May the divine guide my hand in justice.
May the divine guide my hand in justice.
So help me, Athena and Zeus.
So help me, Athena and Zeus.
You may sit. Jurors of Athens, we have gathered today to decide on the fate of one man, Themistocles, son of Neocles, the Athenian politician and general. He is charged with treason, conspiring with Spartan general Pausanias and Artaxerxes, the king of Medes and Persians. We have attempted to bring this man today to stand trial before you, but he has fled and is currently residing in Persia. The trial will be conducted in his absence, as the crimes that he is tried for are severe and cannot be ignored. It is my duty as magistrate to inform you that Themistocles has sent a letter denying all the charges and stating his innocence. On my right-hand side are the prosecutors. On my left-hand side are the defenders. You will hear 3 prosecutors and 3 defenders, and afterwards you will decide on Themistocles' fate. I call the first prosecutor, Alcmaeon, to deliver his speech.
Honorable jurors of Athens, we stand here today to confront not only a man, but a threat, a plague to the sanctity of our society and this polis, a traitor whose ambition has burned brighter than his loyalty to this polis. Themistocles, once a man celebrated for his wit and courage, has chosen to reveal his true self to our nation as a betrayer, a conspirer, a man whose heart beats only for his own gain, not the welfare of Athens. Fellow Athenians, fellow jurors, how ironic that a man who fortified our city with walls has chosen to shatter the very trust and democracy we have built for so long. This is no simple accusation, but one steeped in real evidence and forged in his actions. Themistocles chose to write the letters and conspire against the Greek side. These are not whispers of envy. These are cries of truth, because his letters and testaments stay scattered on the land that we hold dear. This trial is not about justice. It's about survival. Are we to let a man who gave the glory at Salamis and won the victory use his power in treason? Are we to let democracy and our nation die after so long? These are the questions that we need to think carefully at this trial. Themistocles has fled to Persia and conspired with Pausanias of Sparta and Artaxerxes of Persia. How ironic, fellow citizens, that we stand here today to uphold justice, and this man is somewhere else, not fighting for his country, not fighting for the ideals that we hold dear. And what of his character, jurors? Are we going to sit here without hands crossed and not think about the things that he did? Is this the behavior of a man who truly loves his country? He manipulated, bribed, and threatened his way to power. And for what? So we stand here today and call him a hero. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to fight for the pride that all Hellas and Athens hold dear. Condemn him, jurors. Condemn him not because he's done these deeds, but because we need to hold our ideals in the memory of Hellas. Now, I would like to call upon my honorable and chastile witness, Architeles.
Architeles, raise your left hand. Do you swear that you will testify truthfully under the threat of being charged with dicke pseudomartyrion? I swear. You may testify. My name is Architeles. Many of you know me well, as I honorably led our fleet in the battles of the Artemisum and Salamis. I am here to tell you the events that took place right before Salamis and to open your eyes to see how dangerous and unscrupulous Themistocles is. During those difficult hours, when Persians were at our door, we were fighting with all our strength. I started to turn ships around in fear of them sinking because they have already endured a great damage. Themistocles bribed my crew to go against me, and not to mention that he threatened me to falsely accuse me of betraying my own crew. Such dangerous men could deceive our police and lure them into greediness, bribing them as he has already done. His actions could destroy us, and now he even tried to bring enemies to our doorstep. Please, honorable men of Athens,
Tell the full story, please.
wake up, silence, and make a decision in force of justice. Thank you.
You know nothing about justice. That's why.
I call the second prosecutor, Timon, to take his stand.
Honorable men of Athens, many of you know me well. With many of you I've bled fighting the Persians. Many of you as well are familiar with my father, the courageous commander Miltiades, who gloriously defended Greece during the Battle of Marathon. They say in times of war, one best gets to know the true colors of a man. And Themistocles, with whom I fought together, I know like the back of my hand. And like every patriotic man would, I supported him unconditionally during the Battle of Salamis. His genius is unmatched. Not even the worst of his enemies can deny that. Unfortunately, there is a vast difference between his genius and his character. And that, my friends, I've come to know the hard way. You would expect that an inexperienced warrior in the bloom of youth, such as myself back then, would be supported and taught by the skillful Themistocles. Yet, instead, he saw a rival in me. He was aggravated by my noble origin. My family's wealth bothered him. He hated that even though I was young, I already enjoyed a certain respect amongst the warriors. But why, you may ask? Would a warrior of such remarkable achievements feel that way? I asked myself the same question. Though jealousy is a sickness of a kind, there could be no reasonable explanation. He started to mock me behind my back, a traitor of his own, a disloyal, power-hungry man. If it wasn't for mine and Aristides' support of his strategies, they would have never been accepted. It was a hair's breadth away. The army was about to flee in fear, and not to dwell on his disgraceful behavior towards Aristides. I prefer not to dwell on that myself, since it makes me sick. Today with us is Lysimachus Jr., Aristides' younger brother, who shall tell you more about it. I call upon Lysimachus.
Lysimachus the Younger, raise your left hand. Do you swear that you will testify truthfully under the threat of being charged with dicip pseudo-martyrium?
I swear.
You may testify.
Honorable men of Athens, members of jury, I, Lysimachus, brother of our fellow citizen Aristides, am here today to emphasize my utter disbelief that this vain, power-hungry man, Temistocles of course, hadn't been convicted earlier. I find it my obligation, my dear fellow citizens, to remind you of all the conspiracies this foul man plotted against our own polis and my own brother. I believe, my dear Athenians, that I shall not speak about the man my brother was. I'm sure he's better known by all of you as Aristides the Just. As all the noble Athenians know, he was a fair man, incorruptible, with an everlasting care for the best interests of our polis. It was a great misfortune that he ever crossed paths with this Temistocles, goddamn the day this man was born. When my brother was the overseer of the public funds, he found out that this thief had not only embezzled the money, but also falsely accused my brother, Aristides the Just, of theft, and organized framed trial with corrupt jurors. Unbelievable. Or is it really? Fortunately, the aristocracy of Athens denied those horrible accusations. Now, may I ask you, honorable jurors, were you familiar with that? Are you familiar with the fact that this traitor revolted people of Athens against my brother? That he spread horrible...
Of course I'm not familiar. There's no evidence for that.
I will have their opportunity to speak.
Which directly resulted in... Oh God, can you believe it? The ostracism of Aristides the Just. The thing about my brother is, he was so righteous that when poor, illiterate man asked him to write his name on a tile, to write Aristides on a tile, because he wasn't able to, he did it. He voted for himself to be ostracized. That's all you should know about my brother. And Temistocles, when would he do that? I can tell you, never. Because the only thing that this man cared about was him and himself only.
And the polis.
That is not true. And we all know that. Nevertheless, when my brother Aristides had been pardoned and came back to Athens, he was the first one to support Temistocles' strategy in a fight against the Persians, simply because he thought and truly believed it was right. That's the man my brother was. If only there had been more men like him, this traitor would be long gone ago convicted. Thank you.
Everything you've just heard is the whole truth. Aristides was my great friend and guide. Never once has he led me the wrong path. Though Temistocles, on many occasions, he revealed his deceiving nature, like when he suggested we burn the naval ports of our allies, of the ones who stood by us in trouble. A ruthless, dangerous man, only a dangerous, ruthless man would suggest such thing. And I'm sure, respectable jurors, you've heard the rumors. The probably true rumors. The rumors accusing him of buying his way into the position of a commander, of bribing the jury to sentence Aristid, of stealing from the state treasury, of receiving gifts for his services. Greedy, shameless man. But never once did I think that he would betray our cherished, loved homeland to the enemy. My fellow citizens, my fellow Athenians, convict this man and sentence him to a severe punishment for his actions. Thank you.
I call the third prosecutor, Thucydides, to take his stand.
My name is Thucydides, a fellow Athenian just like you. Let me tell you more about Themistocles' devious character, as I have witnessed some things firsthand. He showed a tendency for betrayal even earlier, all due to his sick ambitions. After the Battle of Salamis, when Xerxes started to flee with his army, he wanted and hurried to burn the bridges down, that Xerxes would not be able to return to Asia Minor. Of course, Aristides persuaded him against it, thinking that it was too dangerous for him to remain on the Greek soil. But Themistocles wrote a letter to Xerxes, claiming that he personally was responsible that the bridges were not burned, and that the king owed him his life. And what better proof could there be that this man is capable of betrayal? He clearly wanted to align himself with the emperor, with the foreign emperor.
And who won us the Battle of Salamis? Who?
And look how it has turned out. He was caught in correspondence with the Persian king, Artaxerxes, as well with the Spartan trader, Pausanias. Now, I call upon my first witness, Leobodas, who will tell you more about this, since he was the one who initiated this entire affair.
Leobodas, raise your left hand. Do you swear that you will testify truthfully under the threat of being charged with the pseudo-martyrion? You may testify.
Dear fellow Athenians, my name is Leo, and I am more than willful to explain to you how Themistocles has tried to betray his policy. Let me finish, please.
Of course, if you can.
Themistocles has tried to betray his policy and his people. I do not know how many of you are familiar with the story of Pausanias, a Spartan general who was convicted, and rightfully so, in Sparta, of trying to con a conspiracy together with the ruler of Persia. His efforts were fruitless, of course, but among the letters that were found in the exchange between Pausanias and the Persian ruler, there was evidence of correspondence between the Persian ruler and Themistocles himself. Now, their exchange of letters is controversial in itself, even what kind of a man Pausanias was. But the contents of those letters are unmistakable proof that Themistocles himself has tried to put himself in front of all of you, your friends, your families, and your children. In front of you, the entirety of his policy. Pausanias was the man who tried to give away his own people for a bit of political power and gain. And then he tried to convince, and probably did, convince Temistocles of doing the same. He sent him letters going on and on, ranting on and on about how Athens is ungrateful to Temistocles, and how he has no reason, no single reason to feel a drop of loyalty to his people. Beyond disgusted by what I had laid my eyes upon, I initiated this trial. I felt it was my patriotic duty as a citizen of Athens to do so. And my fellow Athenians, I expect of you the same thing. I expect of all of you to fulfill the patriotic duty and convict this man of the deeds he has done. Thank you.
So, citizens, you have heard of this disgrace. And what better proof would there be than this letter and Temistocles' flight to Persia? Why did he flee if he is not guilty? Why didn't he stay here and face the charges honorably? He fled and sent various demagogues to defend him. Condemn him, our dear Athenians, for this is a great shame for us and our state, in which this rogue constantly tries to sow division and chaos. Thank you.
I call now the first defender, Mnesiphilus.
Thank you, Judge. I am Mnesiphilus, advisor and mentor to Temistocles. I have devoted my life to nurturing the sacred art of wisdom, and wisdom now passed through many generations of great minds, an unbroken chain stretching way back to the immortal Solon himself. Shall we allow this mighty inheritance to be tarnished by doubt? No! I say we honor the wisdom of our ancestors and defend this man. I will never teach an evil person. I know Temistocles very well, so I can witness that he will never turn against Athens.
Lie! You did lie! Silence!
From my experience, I can tell this is a more of a political character trial.
Subjective, your experience.
Silence!
Yeah. So that Temistocles' enemies can see it as an opportunity.
We want objective evidence.
Silence!
As an opportunity, as you can see, to look victorious on the outside, despite their ugly nature inside them.
Is that yours or not?
And you will consider that as a victory?
Yes.
Where's the
Disgusting. Disgusting. But why is that so disgusting? Where there is so disgusting? They base their opinions on the rumors and the lies. He himself tells that may be true.
Where are the arguments?
First, I'm telling it right now. First cover on the list is none other than the first plaintiff, Alcuin. He brought here so-called captain to tell nothing but lies. But members of the jury, here is the man that will tell you the truth.
Mina Kus, raise your left hand. You swear that you will testify truthfully under the threat of being charged with the pseudo-martyrion? I swear. You may testify.
Honorable Athenians, I'm Mina Kus. I'm standing here today not as a patriot or an aristocrat, but as a citizen devoted to truth and justice. I have known Temistocles for many years now, both as a man and as a leader. So let me remind you of some great deeds this man has done for our polis. Firstly, his foresight built our navy. His courage led us to the victory at Salamis, and also he ensured that the walls of Athens stood tall against all the threats. Temistocles has sacrificed everything for this polis. Are we now so blind as to repay his kindness and loyalty with injustice? Do not let, are we now so blind as to repay his loyalty with injustice? There is no solid proof that Themistocles ever betrayed us. Only speculation, forged letters, and testimonies from men with questionable motives. Themistocles who sacrificed everything for us, so do not let Do not let the man tell you the other story. Prove that Athens stands for justice and free Themistocles.
That's so convincing.
Such an honorable man. Do you see how easily the truth can be twisted? You intended to abandon.
What is the truth? Are you back?
You intended to abandon your comrades to the mercy of the Persians because you were in a hurry to
You are a traitor
Then let's set up a trial for him as well. Likewise, he refused to pay his crew because he shares the Alcman's belief that Thetas Abenitus are. Such views, fellow Athenians, are long gone, and the time they were popular are long gone. All thanks to our father of democracy, Cleisthenes. Through his reforms, he established that every man of Athens is equal before the law. Themistocles knew that very well, for him himself came from a family that was nor distinguished nor prominent. He admired a society where every citizen would be equal. Last but certainly not least, everybody remembers the Battle of Salamis, right? If Themistocles wanted, he would have betrayed us there, wouldn't he? And with that question, member of the jury, I leave you to decide righteous for this country. Thank you.
I call the second defender, Neocles the Younger.
Honorable man of Athens, my name is Neocles Jr., and I came here to defend my brother, Themistocles. I was tired, and it was such a painful experience to listen to these pathetic accusations against my brother, and especially when it comes from morally challenged people. One of them is Timon, man who accused my brother of being a friend to this college. Shut up! A man whose father was tyrant to another city. My brother was never such a person, and
Prosecution!
Which letters?
Behave.
Then we have Lysimac. Lysimac always talks about greatness and honor and honesty with his father, but he doesn't have any of those qualities himself. How much did he pay? How much did he pay? Why are you doing this to my friend?
Ask him.
Have you all forgotten what my brother did to this polis? My brother is a hero of Athens. He gave everything he had to defend his city. My fellows, I'm never speaking. I'm just in disbelief. I'm just in disbelief because, thanks to my brother's wisdom, we won the Battle of Salamis. When Persians came, we won against them thanks to his wisdom. When we built the strongest fleet, we built the strongest walls around our city, and when jealous Spartans came to threaten us, he defeated them just by saying, Athens has its walls, and whether you like it or not, those walls will remain. Athens has its own interests, and interests of Athens are interests of all Greeks. How can you call such a man a traitor? It's impossible. You brought false witnesses, you wrote false letters, just to accuse my brother. And even if Pausanias wrote a letter to my brother, where is the proof that my brother replied? Where is the proof of his consent? There is no such a proof. And if there was, I can judge whether it was his handwriting or not. But the problem is, it doesn't exist.
And that is a fact.
Right. So, my brother was a honorable man, and even his political enemies respected him and respect him to this day. Aristides, a man with whom my brother had many disagreements, refused to participate in his ostracism. He refused to take part in this fraud. He refused to be a prosecutor of my father, even though they were enemies. He respects him to this day. Dear Athenians, this trial is not only about my brother, it's also about you. Because these people want all the power for themselves. They want all the power for themselves, and my brother, Themistocles, was not a traitor of the city. My brother is a hero. My brother is not a threat to this polis, not a threat to our democracy. You are. And now I will call upon my witness, Platenus, an outstanding citizen.
Learn his name next time.
I'm tired.
This is the subject.
Tired of lies! I cannot hear
Planetus, raise your left hand. You swear you will testify truthfully under the threat of being charged with deep pseudomacterium? I swear. You may testify.
Honorable men of Athens, I'm Planetus, and you all know my father as a great politician. I see that the prosecution is very hostile by making accusations and insults against us in an extremely ungentlemanly manner. The prosecutors and their witnesses are all wealthy individuals from prominent families. While if you look at our defense team, you can see we come from various backgrounds with various life experiences. Then, isn't it clear that this entire trial is a farce orchestrated by aristocrats who are afraid of the democratic changes Temistocles supported? They are scared, gentlemen, for their wealth, for their offices, for their prestige, and so they attack a man of the people who stands for equality before the law for all Athenians. For all Athenians. They say Temistocles is guilty because he fled. But tell me, would you not run if you were being chased by 100 armed, angry men who believe you are a traitor? Of course you would flee. Seek safety. The sad thing is that the only safe place for Temistocles was Persia. And no one mentions that Temistocles wrote from Persia, denying all the charges that were brought against him. He wrote, and you say Athenian court can't make a mistake. And what's that unless demagogy itself? You yourself admitted that Athenian court made a mistake when it condemned Aristides, who was clearly innocent. So I beg you, Athenians, don't be deceived by this. Open your eyes, because they would love it if your eyes were closed. Thank you.
I call the third defender at the office to take his stand.
Honorable citizens of Athens,
esteemed members of jury, I stand here before you today as a humble servant of justice. Ephiatlus, the man who has devoted his whole life to the welfare of this great city and its people, I am proud to speak on behalf of men accused today. A man that has faced many charges, and man whose loyalty to Athens and democratic ideas is unwavering. You heard the lies that prosecutors said shamelessly. They accused him of treason, betrayal of country in particular, giving country and people to foreign enemies, and they have no proof to back it up. For a long time, Spartans did not like Themistocles because he unsmartened them, because his negotiations with Sparta were delayed, because our walls of Athens were built for defense. Did you not think that this is the revenge of Spartans because of this Themistocles? Because of this, what Themistocles did? And what about what Themistocles' brother said? Where is the proof that he accepted the Pausanians' offer? Where? Pausanians, Spartan general. He was awful man. A few men in Athens liked him. He was selfish. He wanted power. And he thought, because Themistocles was exiled from Athens, that he would betray his country and his people, because he himself was this loyal man, and he would do it, not thinking twice. Athens, members of this jury, citizens, the time is changing, the changes are coming, and the ones who will be hit by those changes are fighting against them. Don't be surprised if tomorrow me or my colleague Pericles would be charged with the same charges as Themistocles today. The old oligarchs look down on the common people. They don't realize that the changes will be realized, because democratic path is very firm, and nothing, I say nothing, will stop the race of democracy. Themistocles, the son of Neocles, Athenian general, politician, he was a visionary. In his heart, he has his best for Athens. All best. He wanted dignity for every man in Athens. Even prosecutors said that he was genius in military, that his genius was unmeasurable. You tell people to work for free. Are they slaves or are they citizens, gentlemen? What are you saying? Are you afraid of democratic changes that are coming?
For democracy, unlike you.
But you want them to work for free. You want them. You're afraid for democracy changes because you're afraid that your properties could be confiscated, that you could be forced to work. Are you that afraid of democratic changes? I tell you, democratic changes will come. And now I call my friend Pericles to tell what he has as a defense witness.
Greetings.
Pericles, raise your left hand. Do you swear that you will testify truthfully under the threat of lege pseudo-martyrium?
I swear.
May testify before the judges.
Greetings, esteemed judges, honorable assembly. I am Pericles, son of Xanthippus, a devoted citizen of Athens. I stand before you today not only as a witness to the matters at hand, but as a proponent of truth and justice. I have devoted my life to the betterment of our polis. I offer my testimony today to this esteemed court. My colleague Ephialtes is a tad fiery, but he speaks the truth. This trial is not only an attack at Themistocles, This is a threat to Athenian democracy. So will we, like barbarians, allow chaos, baseless accusations to ruin our order? Or will we adhere to laws? Will we discuss this like civilized people I know we are? I remind you, the prosecution offers no evidence against Themistocles. They have none of the letters he allegedly wrote to the Persian emperors. Their witnesses are as unreliable as their policies. The sole piece of correspondence that the prosecution offers is a letter from Pausanias. A letter Themistocles never answered. So are we arresting people for receiving questionable letters now? If that's the case, arrest me. Arrest every soul in this courtroom. I guarantee everyone has received one such letter in their lifetime. I remind you, Themistocles himself wrote to you. He denied his guilt. And as Ephialtes has said, it is a tragedy that after such an illustrious career, Themistocles had to fear for his life, had to seek refuge in Persia. That speaks volumes about us, about the state of our polis. If we were as righteous as we claim to be, he wouldn't need to run. People of Athens, be just, free the innocent man. Remember, we all owe him quite a lot. Thank you.
Jurors of Athens, you have heard both the prosecution and the defense. The time has come to cast your vote. All of you in favor of the prosecution, raise your hand and keep it up so that I can count the votes. You can lower your heads. All of you who are in favor of the defense, raise your hands and keep them so that I can count them. The Athenian people have spoken. By the powers vested in me, I pronounce Themistocles innocent.
Because a little bit, but I don't want to hold anyone here, but sure. I'm Victor Kastellani. Some of you have already seen me, maybe even more than once, because I've been involved in these. I've been involved in these for many years. The first one, I think, was probably about 12 or 13 years ago. This is my idea, so blame me or credit me for having this one. I find Themistocles one of the most interesting figures in Athenian history. There are some spectacular ones, including Alcibiades, whom we tried some years ago. But this fellow is an embodiment of a characteristic of Athena I've spent a lot of time studying the ancient gods, and Athena is, for me, the most important of them. And she is characterized, well, when you say that Athena is the goddess of something, what do you say? All right, she's the patroness of Athens. In fact, she's named after Athens. She's the goddess of Athens. That's what her name means. The Athenians thought they were named after her. But Athens was named after a goddess who was worshipped there during the Dark Age and probably back into the Bronze Age, who had certain characteristics that made her unique, even as other goddesses who were named by cities or islands were distinctive goddesses. Well, you will read, you will hear, certainly all the handbooks in English, I've taught mythology for decades, will say that Athena is the goddess of wisdom. She became that when philosophers started cleaning her up. She was originally the goddess of metis, a word which is mistranslated as wisdom. When I introduce her to a mythology class, well, I'm retired now, so I'm not going to have that opportunity. But here I am, converting you to the correct understanding of Athena. She's the goddess of metis. If wisdom is a moral virtue, and Socrates wanted us to think that, but a lot of other people think the same way. If wisdom is a moral virtue, Athena is not morally virtuous in this characteristic of metis. Metis is an amoral willingness to do whatever it takes to, you know Athena as goddess of victory. She will win any way that she needs to do. She will trick an enemy. She will even trick friends into doing what's necessary for their own good, because he is smarter than almost anybody else. He is reputed to have been so smart that he learned the names of every one of the many thousands, 5,000, 6,000, we don't know exactly how many, but he learned the name, and with the name, he would know just the guy, not the guy's name, he'd know who his father was, and possibly the dame he came from. What a memory. He learned their names, he could address them, and one of the reasons that he got such support from the lower classes is that he really did pay attention to them. He didn't just check the bloodline of people like the prosecution. Cimon in particular, I don't want to talk about Cimon. Cimon is also a very interesting character. But he had every reason to want Themistocles to stay out of the picture. Themistocles. It's actually the Greek pronunciation. Themistocles is more Latin. Themistocles had been, there I revert to my own usual, but you know what I'm talking about. Them, for short, was ostracized. Do you all know what ostracism is? Okay, then I don't have to explain it. He could have come back after his 10 years of ostracism, and Cimon and some of the other people who've been represented here by name or by category did not want him coming back. He would have taken over. He practiced oratory when he was a boy, when other boys were playing games. Some of you have read the life of Plutarch, and you know how he was determined to become the best possible speaker. And he was the kind of person who could not be spoken down when he had the platform before the assembly. An admirable man, but like Athena with her metis, he would do things that were not really right, good. And those of you who know the Themistocles of Plutarch know that he and his rival Aristides, that they were political rivals, but for the good of Athens, for the victory of Athens, they put their heads together in managing the war against the great invasion of the Persians. And after the war, Themistocles took Aristides aside and says, I have an idea, and I don't think we should bring it before the assembly. And you will decide whether we should together do this or propose this to the assembly. If we're both for it, who's going to be against it? And Aristides thought that it was bad. He would probably want Athena to have some kind of moral wisdom, although it would be the moral wisdom of the oligarchic tendency of democracy. It was, in fact, and I think we actually heard this during the argument. It was to destroy the ships of the allies. So Athens would have a thalassocracy, an absolute supremacy over the sea. He also he anticipated the policy of that Pericles continued, the policy of turning the free alliance of Greek states, whom Athens liberated, into an empire in which the allies became subjects, paying tribute to Athens, so Athens could beautify herself, build the Acropolis, and build battleship after battleship after battleship to maintain that wonderful mechanism. It's not a moral mechanism. The subjects were paid for their own oppression. They did it, however, because in each of the states allied with Athens, the Athenians made sure that there was a democratic government. And the democratic government was always happy to soak the rich. So all that silver by the ton that came into Athens from the tribute was taken not from the poor people, was taken from the rich to prevent them from changing by buying mercenaries or by other processes, even allying themselves with the Persians. They were willing to do that. This was a wonderful machine, but it was as amoral as that characteristic Metis and as Athena could be at her, well, can I say at her best, at her worst, at her most victorious. I like the name victorious because my name is part of that. All right, thank you for your attention. I applaud all who appeared here. I thank the government of the School of Law for letting me do this repeatedly. And since I don't have classes of my own, as I said a moment ago, you were the substitute. And I think you were a good substitute. I'd be happy to teach any of you under any circumstances. Thank you
very much, Professor. How about the group photo of all the participants with you?
Sure. With or without the cowboy?
With or without the cowboy and the machines.
Great.